Hello and welcome back to this channel again, and today's lesson we're going to be starting on our journey into JavaScript world. So we're going to have lesson number 1 where we're going to be laying out what we're going to learn. And from the previous lesson we had discussed of you need to plan your project, you need to have the resources and the tools you need to develop. So just to go through a quick run from the previous lesson, what we'll be doing: plan, learn JavaScript. Let me correct here. Learn JavaScript and do a side project to apply your the skills. Have a website, plan, or what will be or what will start with resources. For me, I'm coding by myself. Website, I'm gonna be coding also a mobile application just using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You will need to track your work. If you don't have a tool like Jira or any other ticketing system, you can use Google spreadsheets. And also to store your code, if you don't have GitHub account, you can use Google Drive or any other safe place to store your code. But I would recommend having GitHub account for public repositories if you want to pay for it. I would say for startup or for starting a project, if you want it to be private repository, try Bitbucket. They offer free private account for no any payment for less than 5 developers. Okay, let's check our system to make ready. They are ready for taking us through this journey or programming. So I have VS Code, which I will be using for coding. You can download it on Google or from online resource on Microsoft website. Then I have on my computer, make sure that I have Node.js running, and here I can test it quickly. Node.js version, and they am not getting any response. Node.js-v. I'm gonna try it on maybe a new terminal in VS Code. Node.js version. No command found. Let me try again here. Node.js. Kind of have an issue here, but I have Node.js installed. Then make sure you have a command line, which is the Windows command line, or you can use the command line inside your Node.js. Just go to terminal, new terminal, and it will give you this command line here. And you can add either you can use PowerShell, Git Bash, command prompt. I think that one comes from the Windows command line, which is the same thing. I can open it through the Windows there. Node version, maybe that's, oh yeah, there. So I was running the command incorrectly. Should be Node, not Node.js. So I'm running currently on Node version 16.13.1. And the next thing, you have the command line. I have shown you different ways on how you can have your command line. Either you can use the one provided in VS Code, or you can open the one that comes with the Windows machine or your Linux or your Mac OS. So I'm just gonna run here command, and we're gonna open my command prompt there, or I have a shortcut here on my Windows here, and open it quickly here. The next thing you need is if you want to host your code online, you need to register your domain. So if you need to host online, register your domain either on GoDaddy or any other registrar, domain registrar. Then if you want to host, you can host it on your local machine using localhost if you don't want to deploy it online, or if you are running your application locally on your network, you can just host it locally, or you can look for a hosting provider. We have too many. GoDaddy is one of them, and the others. Okay, the next, introduction to JavaScript. We will be learning to program in JavaScript. In the learning process, you will become a programmer, someone who not only uses computers but also controls them. So when you are a programmer, you know the in and out working of the computer system, because a computer is just a piece of plastic or metal that are put together, but without an operating system, which is a program that communicates with the hardware, then there's no really computer, it's just a piece of metal or plastic. And then once you have the operating system, you need a program that runs on top of that operating system, applications, what I would say. So you have like Google Chrome here, which is an application. You have the Microsoft Bing. You can see here we can do a search with Bing, but we have Microsoft Internet Explorer's browser, which is an application running on Windows operating system. So once you learn to program, you can bend computers to your will and make them do whatever you want. So in this lesson, we're gonna be learning JavaScript and what is really a JavaScript. We have too many other programming languages like Python, PHP, Java, Ruby on Rails, you name it. But before that, I would like to say computers, which is just I'm repeating the same statement that I just said. Computers can only do exactly what we humans tell them to do. We tell computers how to behave using computer programs, which are just sets of instruction for the computers to follow. It's like you, when you go to work, you are given instruction by your manager on what to do and what to take. So in that scenario, you being told by your manager what to do or what to accomplish, you are just like they're giving you programs or instruction to follow and accomplish what you are supposed to finish. So your manager will be the human, and you could be a computer that's being given instruction. And without programs, computers can't do anything. It's just like you going to work, and without anything to do, then you can't do anything, or without instruction, then you don't know what to do. You're gonna be just there. So the next, JavaScript is programming language that's used to write computer programs. JavaScript is used to write programs that mostly runs on the web, but nowadays can be used to write programs that runs on the server using Node.js, and on the desktop using the Electron. Example apps that uses Electrons is Slack, if you have used it, and VS Code. Actually, this VS Code I'm using to code here, it's an Electron app, and you can see I added, I'm using to code, I'm using to code with VS Code, which is an Electron app. There are other programming languages, but why JavaScript? And the reason is JavaScript is easy to learn and start programming. Number two, only requires a web browser to run, and not only that, I can run it on the console, like a console application on the background. Not too many configurations required. When you are running a JavaScript, I write a web application, I put it on the server or my hosting or here on the local, and when I start it up, I just need to run it using this browser here. I don't need any other tool. Other programming languages will require you to set up the environment, make sure that everything is working fine. Like when I'm running Java, I need to install Java on my machine to make sure I have the Java virtual machine, which actually takes the Java code and run it on top of the operating system. So that's basically why we have decided to use JavaScript. Okay, let's jump into writing some codes, and the next code will just show you how you can use JavaScript quickly without even coding JavaScript in the browser, without even using VS Code. So let's open here our Google Chrome, and I will open up the developer tools, which I did by opening developer tool in Chrome. I did Control C TRL plus I, or Command plus I in Mac OS and other systems based on your system. Then it will open your developer tools. If you don't want, you can click on these three dots here, then open on more tools, then you have developer tools, which it closed because it's already open, so I will go back there. Yeah, that's so now here we have our console, and here I can start programming some few things, and just take a simple 3 plus 4 and hit, and even without hitting enter I get a 7. But when you are writing a program, a big program you want to run on the browser or somewhere else, you can't be using console tool like this one. Have to come to VS Code or your text editor and write that code on it so that you can test your program and run it, then deploy it. So here we'll start by a simple, I will call my variable name cons or variable line, which is this is the old way of defining a variable. So I have a variable line, or I can say variable sum equals to 3 plus 4, then I just do console, which is the same thing I did on the browser, sum, then I can nicely run it here, and you can see here we have a line, and then I can add in some message use the string literal simple, which you have to click or enter on the tick bar on your computer keyboard. So I'm gonna say sum, and I say the sum is, then I have to enclose this one, the $sign brackets, and then close with the tick back, and then that one, and you see down here we have it, the sum is, and add that one, sum is that, and I can right click on it and clear my output, and that one. Okay, the next thing, let's write a program that will print some nice things or loop through a number of times to print something on the screen. So I will have to write a program that draw the cats with their faces. I will say var equals to draw cats equals to function. A function is just enclosed code that takes a group of instructions, and then it performs an action on it. You can leave it empty, or you can pass in variable. Like here I'm gonna be passing in a variable called how many times then now we're gonna be using just a simple for loop to loop through. So we're gonna have var I, var equals to 0. So you are starting at index 0, then you go through the many times you want, but I want to make sure it's less than how many times. And then you want to increment the index as you go through the list or the many times you want. Then we want to just console log I plus, I could use string literal here, so I have I, then equals to this keyboard here, and dot that first nose goes to that. So I'm just gonna have a cat printed with a mustache, or the front fits in the nose or the mustache there. Then I'm gonna do it like that, and I want to just hit on that. So now, why are we not having any output here? Because we have a function, we need to call it with the many times you wanna this thing to be printed out. So I will come down here now and use my function. So I'm gonna say draw cats, and I need it to be printed 10 times. So if I hit now, that should see how many. I will take this one. Let me just comment out this one now. So I need to print, I need to go through the loop 10 times starting at index 0, And let me clear this one, then print it out. Now you see 1, so we are printing the index, then we print our face, index 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 our face. So that's what's happening here. If you want to do the old way, you can do like this. Let me leave that one. If you want to do the old way, you can do this console dot log then you do I concatenate the string, then you're gonna have that, then you're gonna have equals to app dot app equals to, and this one I wanna comment this one out, so I'm just using a line comment there, and I have the same thing, but now I'm using the old way, not the new way. So I will leave the new way of using string literal to do that. Clear output. The other thing I want to show you is using the next gen JavaScript with the async function. So I will use constant draw dogs equals to async then I will just take this part here and I will use next, I will use this one let how many times, and now I will comment this one using a block comment which will take the whole from here to here. Now I want to print also this one, I will just use a line comment. And here I'm gonna do draw dogs, and I need to pass in 5 dogs. And then 1. Okay, we are getting an error. How many times? Because I didn't allow this function to accept any input or parameters or variables. So now print again, and you can see I'm printing 5 dogs. Then I can add console dot log, then I say number of dogs can be either one or many dogs to be printed. Then I use my nice string literal, how many times, thus a semicolon. Then here we hit this one. This one is printing too many times, so I'm printing this guy. I don't want that, so our console has to come out of the for loop, and I'm just showing this so that you can learn how you see mistakes and correct them. And now we have it, number of dogs to be printed 5, and see 1 2 3 4 5 but the index starts at index 0, and then it goes to 4. That's why you don't see a 5 here, and we are done. And that's all for today. See you next time.